have Katura's notes on one case.
Good afternoon. This is the Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals meeting April 17th, 2 p.m. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
I have the usual. For those of you who have not appeared here before, the following procedures apply to our proceedings. First, we call any request for an adjournment. If there are no requests for an adjournment, we'll go right into the calendar. The protocol we follow is the applicant presents their case initially. If there are any objections, the objections are then given the opportunity of voicing their objections, and finally, we allow the applicant or their representative to close and sum. Some of the cases are decided today. Some of the cases will take a little longer. The proceedings are live streamed. You can refer to those in the future if you wish. We do have a court reporter who takes down all of the verbal comments, so we ask that you try not to speak over each other, and I think that's about it. Patrick?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any applications for adjournment for this afternoon. We'll begin with case 24324 Inwood, Knockham and Sarah Greenberg. Variances, lot area occupied, rear yard, construct addition, second story addition open below, and second story deck open below all attached dwelling, also known as 5 Fairway Drive.
Mm-hmm. Data's bigger than they are. Pardon?
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. We do have an application for adjournment.
We do.
Case 25824 Belmore, Richard Zopke, also known as 2900 Shore Road.
Good afternoon, Mr. Katsubas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Zopke. He was recently injured, and their injury resulted in a need for surgery, and this happened on Friday. He's not well, and he wasn't able to attend this variance hearing, so he would like to request an adjournment, and I do have some paper from his doctor, which indicates the surgery he had done and so on.
Is there anyone else here on this case? Nope. Patrick?
July 10th at 2 p.m.
Hopefully he'll recover by then.
Yes, all right, July 10th is good.
2 p.m.
Works for your client?
Hopefully should
Hope
work.
so.
No, I mean, he's not under contract to close anything else or anything like that?
No. Yeah.
July 10, 2 p.m.
July 10th, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Patrick?
Okay, we're going to be calling back case 24324 Inwood, Knockham and Sarah Greenberg, variances, lot area occupied, rear yard, construct addition, second story addition, open below, and second story deck, open below all attached dwelling, also known as 5 Fairway Drive.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Shmuel Flaum, residing at 194 Lonzer Avenue, Inwood, New York, 11096.
Knockham Greenberg, 5 Fairway Drive, Inwood, New York, 11096.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. I'm here on behalf of the owners, rather than Mrs. Greenberg, seeking variances related to an alteration addition at their existing 2-story dwelling. The existing dwelling, as it currently is laid out, is not large enough for their growing family. We're seeking variances in relation to an alteration addition at the existing dwelling with a proposed two-story extension to the rear and a proposed second-story deck off of that extension. The variances that we're seeking in conjunction with this application are regarding building area and with regard to the rear yard setback. As it relates to building area, the proposed building area for the house with the decking would be 36.12. Currently, it stands at 19.46 or 1,252.81 square feet. With the proposed addition and including the deck, it would be 36.12 square feet, which is more than the allowable for the residence district of Residence B. Residence B with a deck permits 30%. The only other variance that we're seeking is a rear yard, where you're required to have 25 feet in a Residence B district. The existing is 42.6.5, and we're proposing 14 foot 11.5. There is an existing nonconformity with regard to the front yard, but we're not touching the front of the house. Those are the only two variances we're seeking in conjunction with the application. The majority of the alteration addition is adding in additional bedrooms to accommodate the growing family for the Greenbergs and additional play space for the children on the lower level. If the board has any questions, I'm happy to address
I
them.
may have missed it. The rear yard required versus the rear yard provided is what?
Sorry, the rear yard required is 25 feet in the Residence B district, and we're proposing 14 foot 11.5.
Any complaints from the neighbors?
I'm sorry, didn't hear the question?
Any complaints from the neighbors?
No.
I don't see the 14 feet. I see 13. Okay, so. Designated as a rear yard.
That's your rear yard.
What did you say the lot area occupied?
36
The proposed or the existing?
proposed.
The proposed total with the deck would be 36.12. There's the breakup between the deck and the house. So the house itself is 34.13, the accessory deck is 1.99 for a total of 36.12.
Great neighbors. Pillars. They're pillars. Mhm. Any other questions from the board?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Thank you.
Have a nice afternoon. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
That's it for you, Smooth.
Next, we have cases 24424 through 24724. Inwood, David and Hannah Winselberg. Variances, front yard setback on Healy Avenue, construct two-story addition and interior alterations in excess of 50%, new CO required. Variances, front yard setback on Dixon Street and Healy Avenue, maintain enclosed porch attached to dwelling. Special exception to maintain shed not permitted in side yard exceeding horizontal maximum and with less than required side yard setback. Maintain a 2 foot 6 inch high fence on top of an 8-inch high stone wall totaling 3 feet 2 inches high, located within the clear sight triangle and without clear sight triangle at both neighbors' driveways. Maintain a 6 foot high arbor forward of the dwelling, also known as 68 Dixon Street.
I inspected this. That's my notes.
Good afternoon. My name is Shmuel Flaum, residing at 194 Wanzer Avenue in New York, 11096.
I'm Hannah Winselberg.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Hannah Winselberg at 68 Dixon Street, Inwood, New York, 11096.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. We're here today on behalf of the owner seeking variances related to an alteration addition at an existing single-family dwelling. This is one of those houses that predates the town's existence. As such, it has a series of non-conforming conditions that.
It's the building department's existence. Oh. Town's been here since 1644.
Okay, I don't think it's that old.
Not quite.
Thank you for the correction.
No, Mr. McKenna told me that.
Yeah? So it predates the building department's existence and thus regulations governing the construction of buildings and dwellings. Henceforth, we're seeking variances in relationship to an alteration addition, and I'm going to enumerate them because there are many involved. The existing lot is currently a non-conforming in size and in frontage. That just happens to be the way it is when they purchased the house. The existing lot currently is a 4,733.74 square foot lot with existing coverage of 19%. The proposed coverage with the alteration addition would actually be in compliance at 27.42%. The existing house, existing non-conforming height, the proposed extension would be complying with the rigid 30 feet. With regard to the front yard, there's an existing non-compliance with the front yard. We're not proposing any changes to the frontage on the Dixon side. However, the frontage on the Healy side, because it's a corner lot, has a nonconformity in that the extension would be non-complying with the 25-foot setback from the lot line. The proposed new building would be 12 foot 2 1/4 at the extension. Just please note the existing house is currently at the closest point 11 foot 5 1/2. We're lining up the extension with the existing, so we're not coming any further out on Healy Avenue. We're just aligning the extension with the existing frontage on Healy. With regard to other variances related to the application, there is a shed on site. We're seeking variances with regard to its nonconformity of the width. It's 9 foot wide and 12 foot 1.5 inches tall, and it's 91.28 square feet, where you're allowed to have 144 square feet, 9 feet tall, and I think 12-foot width. The setback also requires a variance because it's closer than 2 feet on the side yard between them and the neighbor.
Isn't it 14 feet wide?
No, it's 12 foot 1.5 as per the site plan.
Oh, I see 14,
0.26 is a spot elevation. The dimensions to the left of that,
a spot elevation?
a spot elevation.
Okay,
It's like a dog spot.
we're even. Go.
Okay, so with regard to this, we're seeking a variance to add more bedrooms and living space into the residential dwelling. There are a series of related applications that we filed in conjunction with this alteration addition, specifically the non-conforming, the maintained fence, maintained shed, maintained AC, maintained enclosed front porch, as it relates to doing this proposed work. And before the board today, we're just seeking variances for the non-conformities that are going to be created by the new two-story with regard to front yard and the variance for the shed, and that's it. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
You have on the, you need a clear site triangle clearance, it looks like on the south side, southeast corner.
We're proposing making it a compliant clear side triangle where there currently isn't a compliant side triangle.
So
You're going to catty-corner that? You'll catty-corner that fence?
Correct.
And what about the other one on the, I guess it's the northeast corner? Of course,
Sorry?
that's adjacent to your joining landowner's driveway.
So
The
we're calling
the
for,
northeast corner.
we're calling for a 2.5 foot tall see-through picket fence on that corner. Are you talking about the clear side triangle for the?
Approach, do you want to approach?
No, that's not it.
No. It's here. This one,
Right.
catty-corner, and this one, catty-corner, because your neighbor's driveway is right there and it blocks them pulling out.
Right.
I was there Sunday.
Okay.
Right?
Here's that.
Yeah, that,
Okay,
you should.
I don't think we'll have an issue.
Okay,
Where
both of
are you?
those.
Where's your driveway?
No,
I think they should have.
well, they had
Well,
one.
they had
They
one.
do. They have one back here. There is a,
There's a curb.
there-
There's a curb.
yeah, and there was a fence, but it's not open, it's grass over here, so nobody pulls in there.
So there's no place to park the cars.
On the street. There's on-street parking, yeah. There's plenty of it, believe me. All right?
Okay.
It's nice when you go out in advance, so you know what
Okay.
you're talking about. Okay? That's what happens when you have surgery. You go out and do these things. That concludes your case.
That concludes my case.
Any other questions from the board? Silence. If not, do I have a motion? All right. He doesn't have a driveway now. What do you want to do? Put it on? So he's going to park the car in the open, in the backyard. You know, I wouldn't do that.
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders this decision, you and your client will be notified.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next, we have case 24824 near Lawrence. Moshe Kaufman and Rebecca Sarah Wassner Kaufman. Variance lot area occupied, construct dwelling, also known as 256 Pacific Avenue.
Shmuel's having a good day. No, I didn't think it'd be.
Good afternoon. My name is Shmuel Flaum, residing at 194 Wanzer Avenue, Inwood, New York, 11096.
Good afternoon, Moshe Kaufman, 1037 Annapolis Street, Rockaway, New York, 11691.
Okay. We're here today before the board seeking variances related to a new single-family dwelling being proposed at the subject premises. The subject premises is located at 256 Pacific Avenue in Lawrence. The current lot is obliquely shaped, and as such, we try to comply as best as possible to get a proper layout for the house. In doing so, we're seeking variances specifically for lot coverage and side yard. The two variances that were...
Wait. Side yard? It's not on, I don't know.
Well, I think it's
Side
just-
yard on the notice?
It's
You
not,
only-
sorry.
you only have
It's
the
not
lot
a,
area
it's not a
occupied.
side yard. It was a back and forth. I apologize. There is no side yard variance, just that the side yard gets narrower as to the back. So there was some confusion on whether it needed one or didn't need one. It doesn't need a variance. We made the house comply.
Okay.
So the only variance that we're seeking today is in terms of building area. We're allowed to have 27.5% lot coverage of 1807.3. We're seeking a lot coverage of 33.06% or 2,172.44 square feet. The deck is in compliance at only 129.21 or 1.90% for a total coverage of 34.96% for the proposed house. As you can see from the site plan, the house, even though we're seeking a variance in lot area, we're still conforming with the required setbacks for the front, side, and rear lot lines as it's fully contained within the required setbacks.
What's the size of the lot?
The lot is 6,572.
And there was a house on the property?
There previously was a house on the property.
Cellar entrance? Cellar entrance?
It was since demolished.
Since demolished.
Is there a cellar
Now, what
entrance?
about the, you have a outside cellar entrance? How do you feel about that?
What?
How do you think the board feels about outside cellar entrances?
Well, it depends on what it's for. If it's for the family to get in and out of the house to access their basement, I'm assuming it should be, you know, the board should be thrilled with it because it gives another means of egress, which is what its purpose is. It's a means of egress in and out of the basement.
When you have window wells with grates and two,
Those are also means of egress,
yes,
but there's also bringing light and air into the space.
sure. I just don't, we frown upon exterior basement entrances.
I know, but the basement here is I think, as of right. I don't think it's triggering a
What does
variance.
he have on the plans for the basement? It doesn't matter.
So what are your plans for the basement?
Primarily a playroom for the children. Give me 1 second, I'm just gonna open up the plans fully. We have our mechanical room, laundry room, home gym, playroom, toy closet, Costco closet, and just one bathroom off of the home gym.
Three-piece? Three-piece?
Three
bathroom?
piece.
That concludes your case?
That's it.
All right. Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, one more. No.
Next, we have case 24924 Woodmere, Leon and Hilla Mayer. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, construct dwelling with roof over open porch, existing foundation, demolish existing dwelling, and detached garage, also known as 28 Neptune Avenue. Mr. Flom, let the record reflect that I have you sworn in from earlier, just your name and address for the record.
Let me look at yours.
Shmuel Clown, residing 194 Wanzer Avenue in New York,
Pretty
11096.
little beaver.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. I'm here on behalf of the homeowners regarding a proposed new 2.5-story dwelling on a partially existing foundation. The existing dwelling, as it currently exists, is a 3-story non-conforming dwelling. The layout is such that it doesn't make sense to keep it and alter it because it's just a very, very dysfunctional layout. As such, the homeowners approached me and we redesigned the house to be a proper 2.5-story, fully complying dwelling in height. However, the space they're seeking does trigger certain variances. I'm going to enumerate them below with regard to this application. We're in this specific district, which is Residence A district, you're allowed to have 25% lot coverage, or which is 2,325 square feet. We're seeking 29.7 square feet, or 2,757.60. With regard to accessory decking, there is no allotment allowed in the zoning. We're seeking a accessory deck behind the main dwelling of 3.9% of the lot, which is 360.21 square feet, for a total lot coverage of 33.6%, or 3,117.7 square feet. With regard to yard requirements, the only variance we're seeking is with regard to the front yard, where you're permitted in this district to have a minimum, as per the average front yard across the properties, 200 feet in each direction. The average is 43.8 feet. We're proposing 30 foot 10 inches. That is 30 feet to the house, but there is a porch forward of that, which is 20 foot 4. So I believe when you go for variance, the variance is triggered by the porch as well. So it's 24 foot 4 to the porch itself. Other than that, there's no other variances being sought in relationship to this application for the dwelling.
Are you in a FEMA zone?
No, not in the flood zone.
Not in a flood zone. So from the street to the ridge of the house, it's gonna be 50 feet tall?
No. Where do you see 50?
I don't know, it says proposed roof ridge, 50 feet 4 inches.
No, that's the,
From the
no.
crown?
Yeah.
Crown is-
It's 29 feet. 50 foot 4 is the NAVD, or North American Vertical Datum Elevation.
That's what that little,
Yeah.
BMW is. Okay, what would the lot area be without a basement entrance?
What?
What would the
My
lot-
ears aren't working.
You heard it. What would the lot area occupied be without a exterior basement entrance?
Probably not much different.
But a little different.
A little
A
different.
little.
Does the board have any other questions?
No.
No.
Do you have anything that you'd like to offer?
They have a growing family, and again, the house that they currently live in doesn't make sense to do an alteration to. And instead of keeping the third story with a non-complying attic, they decided to move forward and demolish it and bring it down to 2.5 story without an attic.
What's in that house?
So you maintain it as a half-story, no occupancy?
There's no attic up there anymore. It's going to be storage only.
No, we've heard that before.
It's being built new, so it's not, there's currently an existing house with a habitable attic.
Okay, so that's gone.
It's being completely demolished.
Understood.
So
So
it's just a
here we
new
are.
2-story.
What is it going to be? How high is the ceiling in the base, in the attic?
It's 5'11",
Pull down stairs?
just a pull down stair for mechanical equipment.
I could live there.
I have no further questions.
No, I said I could live there. Don't hurt
It's
that.
an inside joke.
Are you finished for the day, Mr. Flown?
This is my last case for the day, I believe.
Thank you. We appreciate
Trifecta.
it.
Okay, 4.
I
Okay, can I have a motion if there are no further questions from the board?
move the hearing be closed and the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll be notified.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions?
Thank you very much. Have a
You're
wonderful day.
welcome. You too.
Next, we have case 250-24, Levittown, Daniel Hasselbauer. Variance, front yard average setback, construct addition and roof over front porch, both attached to dwelling, also known as 42 Oak Tree Lane.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Johnson, address 21 Furrow Lane, Levittown, New York, 11756. New York State Architect License Number
Should he be in
0448666.
favor of this application? They didn't want to put that check mark in.
So as I stated, my name is Brian Johnson. I'm the architect for this project. Dan and Teresa Hasselbauer are my clients, and they just welcomed their beautiful daughter Lily into the world. So unfortunately, they're not here in person today, but they are watching online. So we're proposing to construct a 1-story addition to the existing dwelling, as well as put a front porch on the dwelling. So the existing residence right now has a front yard setback of 30.95 feet. The proposed 1-story addition that we're putting on is 30.95 feet as well. So the proposed 1-story addition will align with the existing house and will not encroach into the front yard setback any further than the existing line of the existing house.
Wait a minute.
about
You're
the
asking
front
for
porch?
relief for a front yard average setback?
For the
though.
porch.
But it's 2 parts.
For the
Okay.
porch.
We're getting to the porch, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll wait for part 2.
Part 2. So part 2 is for the porch. So as you're aware, you're allowed 6 feet, for the front porch. If we were to do that in this case, the front porch would only come out 4.22 feet. So in that case, it's not that much of an actual porch to be a usable space. So the clients really wanted it to be usable. So what we're proposing is to have the front porch come out to 5.92 feet, which would be basically 1 foot 8 further into what would be allowed as of right. And just one thing to note too, that I'm sure the board is already well aware of it. When Levitt was building all these houses, he was staggering the houses back and forth. And in some cases, you could say that my clients picked the short straw and they got the house that's pretty much as far forward on the block as you can. So if, let's say it's the house right next door, 38 Oak Tree Lane, we probably wouldn't even need to have to go for variance. They could probably have done this as of right.
They
So
actually chose the short straw, did they not? They didn't pick it. Any questions from the board? If not,
Yeah.
do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed and the case placed on its decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
All in favor? Any opposed? By the way, they didn't pick the short straw, they chose it,
you are correct.
okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Garden City.
Next, we have
You, Kim.
cases 251
There's nobody
of
here.
24 to 252 of 24, Garden City South. Sari Evangelou, variance rear yard, maintain wood deck attached to dwelling and detached garage. Special exception to maintain accessory structure, shed, not permitted in side yard and with less than required side yard setback. Maintain 4-foot-high fence forward of the dwelling, also known as 523 Terrace Avenue.
Is there anyone here on this case? If not, we'll mark it second call. Next case.
Next, we have case 25324 Inwood, Jamalia Al-Kafii. Variances, side yards aggregate, maintain porch converted to living space, 2-story addition, 2nd-story balcony, and deck all attached to dwelling, also known as 284 Bayview Avenue.
Bayview? Okay.
For the record, my name is Todd O'Connell, architect doing business at 1200 Veterans Highway, Hauppauge, New York, architect for the Aphelias. All right, thank you, Chairman and members of the board. This is kind of a first for me, actually. This particular site is quite interesting. It is a non-conforming dwelling, quite non-conforming. It's an attached dwelling, and it's in a business zone, and it is built prior to 1938 and is pretty much non-conforming in every way, shape, and form possible to the codes of town of Hempstead. So being in a business zone and being a residential house, we have to follow the codes of Residence C, which currently doesn't conform with, requires 6,000 square foot property. The property only has a 2,732 square feet of property. It's an attached dwelling, so there is a 0 side yard, setback, and there is only an 8.8 on one side. And we have minimum in aggregates. We're not changing anything. We're maintaining everything that's there. It's everything is in line. These structures that are that were here before you, according to the current owner, they've been in existence prior to them owning the building, and they've owned it for at least 25 years or so. And if you look at the pictures, they look like they've been there probably 50 years. The structures. It's so, but unfortunately, the current owners, they're faced with trying to legalize it now because they put the house up for sale. And, it all came up that these structures at some point in history were built without the benefit of a permit, and now we're before this board to try to legalize them. But again, the main issue are setback variances, and everything before you. We're not diminishing it in any way, shape, or form. It's really just maintaining what's already there on site today, with the exception of an encroachment of an egress window well, as there is a finished basement there. So we're just trying to legalize the finished basement and putting in a required egress window well to make that basement legal. So that is the only further encroachment into the side yard.
Does this have a 3rd story?
Yes, it does.
What's in that 3rd story?
In that 3rd story, there's just it's just a room.
A room. No
And
doubt.
not the whole house is not a 3rd story. It's just
front.
let's say about a 10% section, a 20% section of the house has a room up there.
Have you been in the house?
Yes, I have.
You've got all these open building permits going to be closed out?
Yes.
Should this be granted?
We're waiting for this board so we can, close everything out. We went to the state actually for waivers and state variances, so we've been working on this for a while.
Do you have copies of those approvals by the state or disapprovals?
We're currently in process with the state.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and the building department can't, give the COs without.
I realize that, but
Yeah.
since you said you went to the state, I thought maybe that you had those decisions. Are they going to make you sprinkle it or anything like that?
Yes, they will.
They will.
They will. The only thing that I've seen the state do without the sprinkler is sometimes, typically by state code, they will make you sprinkler the entire building I have seen them give relief where they will make you sprinkle only the path of egress out the front door.
Oh, okay.
They have given that as relief, but far from that, the state code as is the entire building.
When do you expect the state will make their ruling?
They've been running right now for that type of variance. They've probably at least 6 months.
And when did you file?
We're waiting on this board with their decisions in order to go forth with the rest of the application. Because should this board, for whatever reason, not grant a decision, it makes no sense to go forth with the, with the state.
With the safety that the state might impose?
I'm sorry?
With the safety idea that New York State might impose as a safety means of egress. You wouldn't want to, whatever.
Well, I've never seen the state deny, with putting in sprinklers, they've never denied a third story if they put in sprinklers.
I understand.
They wouldn't put on a third story. They might just sprinkle
But
the whole
if the
building.
board grants this, wouldn't we want to grant it subject to New York State variances, approval?
Well, the third story, I don't even believe is before you for any kind of relief.
Well, you're modifying an existing non-conforming that
Right.
needs some
Some
type
type
of
of thing.
state safety relief. That's why you're
Yes.
going to the state.
Right.
Wouldn't it be prudent of this board to possibly grant your variance subject to New York State approvals?
Okay. I think that's
That's reasonable?
reasonable.
There you
Absolutely.
go. I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar when the board renders its decision. You will be notified.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case.
Next, we have case 25424, Point Lookout, Michelle Milan. Variances exceeds number of stories, lot area occupied, side yard aggregate, rear yard construct two-story addition, second story with roof deck, and third story addition with balcony and all attached dwelling, also known as 84 Mineola Avenue.
I do.
Mr. McKevitt, I assume your clients would like to be notified. I don't think they signed in.
They arrived a few minutes later. I'll make sure they're notified.
There you go.
Yes.
We'll have them sign in.
For the applicant, Thomas McKevitt, son, Ward, Braff, Koblenz, Cascignano, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, 11553.
George Monasterio, architect, 59 Belmore Avenue, Point Lookout, New York, 11569.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Good afternoon.
This is an application to construct a two-story addition to an existing one-family dwelling. As noticed, the application is for side yard aggregate, rear yard, lot area occupied, and number of stories. The premises is located at 84 Mineola Avenue in Point Lookout, known as Section 61, Block A, lots 137 and 138 of the land and tax map of Nassau County. It is located in the Residence B zone of the town of Hempstead. This is a 2.5-story one-family dwelling constructed in 1938, subsequent to the 1930 enactment of the Building Zone Ordinance. My clients have owned the property since October of 2007. I've taken photographs of the premises approximately 1 week ago, which I've given the Secretary Board and giving to the board so they can see the character of the area. As you're aware, these are all single-family residential dwellings, except that this part of Mineola Avenue on the east side is the Point Lookout District Beach Park. So there's no residences to the east of them. It's all the beachfront, and eventually the water is what we have. This is a 3,000 square foot lot. It's 40 foot by 75 feet. The dwelling is currently 1,336 square feet. The current lot coverage is 44.5%. So as indicated, we're looking to put a two-story addition, essentially bumping out the back of the house, and at the top, literally where there's the ag right now, just boxing it out so there's egress to go out to a rear deck on the top floor. So we're going to be adding 272 square feet.
You're asking for a
Third story.
That's what the building department classified it as, but if you look at, and what makes it confusing is, when you look at the site plan, it's very jumbled. You know, if you look at the floor plans, it's very clear what we're doing. There's currently an attic right there, an attic space, which comes to a ridge of 29 feet, 7.5 inches.
Are you saying that Mr. Monasterio drew a confusing site plan?
Yes.
Not on my own will.
The result is the result. So, but we're keeping the height of that ridge exactly where it's going to be. It will not be increased. And when you look towards the front of it, again, if you look at the floor plan for that top level, again, it's just boxing out for some headroom. That's all it is. So it's a very small area, which only goes up to 6 feet, 8 inches. But we're keeping the rest of the roof line the same, so we know you're going to have the deck in the rear portion. Because otherwise you'd be literally, if you're tall, you're going to be closely to the top, but you couldn't have the headroom otherwise. That's what it really is. So, I mean, it's still 2.5 stories. The eaves are lower than the midpoint. And again, it's just that boxing out of the dormer in the rear. It's a very small percentage of the top floor. Do you have an approximate percentage? It's small.
It is tight.
But it's a small area.
The area up on the third floor is 8'9" wide by the width of the house, and it's mainly egress to the third floor deck.
That's all it is.
From the stairs to the rear.
Right. It's a rear deck.
And
Would you, the door is way up there. Is it?
It's a dormer, just again, for head access to get to the deck.
Right,
Why don't we approach?
Okay.
Why don't you?
This is the rear, this is the water view. Come up the stairs, I have a bridge here, so you can come up the stairs. You know, 6'8".
that's an interior space.
Yep. You go upstairs, you're able to walk out.
And walk out to the
So that bridge line.
That's all we got here. So all this remains current pitch.
So this is that, ever gonna come before us again?
Yeah, when Harvey torture gets, she tortures me every day. Much more than Chris every day. It's absolutely terrible. But she shows up at the office. That's not a joke. Spoke to the big man. One of the hosts. She's working. So that's essentially, it's really just the header access. The rest of it's going to remain exactly.
He'll be there. He doesn't need to put in a good park.
Reinforce it.
So we're again only increasing by 272 square feet. So the new total will be 1,608 square feet, or 53.06%. The front yard setback is remaining the same. The side yard area is the same. The side yards are the same. And that's exactly what's going to be as existing at this point. The rear yard requirement is 18 feet 9 inches. It's currently 11 feet 9 inches. We're going to be providing 13 feet 2 inches to the first floor, 11 feet 2 inches to the first floor bay window, and 7 feet 2 inches to the second floor deck. Just looking at the lot areas of the surrounding properties, this house is actually the lowest in that vicinity, that side of the block, and it's going to continue to be the lowest in those houses on the east side of Mineola Avenue. So, for example, 82 Mineola Avenue has a lot coverage of 55.8%. 78 Mineola is 63.2%, and that was approved by this board on 2021 in case 693. 76 Mineola is 49%, just a little lower, and 74 Mineola Avenue is 55.19%. I bring up Mineola, 74 Mineola, more importantly, because in case 163 of 2013, this board actually approved a rear deck and a rear boxing very similar to what we have right now. Remember, I have copies for the board.
Take those in evidence.
So I have the plans for the rear elevation again, for 74 Mineola Avenue, Point Lookout. And again, if you look at it, it has a rendering on the rear very similar to what we're proposing today. It is very similar. So that's what we're doing. And again, when you just look at the properties to the south, at 86 Mineola Avenue is 57.1%, and that was approved by this board in 2021 in case 652. 88 Mineola Avenue has a lot coverage of 67.2%. Regarding the rear yard variance, the house immediately to the south, again, 86 Mineola Avenue, only has a 4-foot rear yard setback. And that was approved by this board on December 15th, 2021, in case 652 of 21. So when you look at the lot coverages, we're actually lower than almost all the properties nearby. When you look at the rear yard setback, we're actually providing a greater rear yard setback from the property to the rear. And again, regarding that third level, again, we're doing almost something very similar to 74 Mineola Avenue. And again, it's just boxing out for the headroom to the deck. That's just for deck access. It's a small area. That's my case.
Any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next
Thank you very
case.
much.
Next we have cases 25524 through 25624 Inwood. Jose Rodriguez. Variances, lot area occupied, rear yard construct 2-story addition and elevate existing dwelling. Variance, lot area occupied, maintain addition to detached garage, also known as 87 Wall Avenue.
Somebody's really be afraid, huh? Here you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Dean Katsubis. My address is 121 Newbridge Road, Hicksville, New York, 11801.
I'm Jose Rodriguez. My address is 87 Wall Avenue, Inwood, New York, 11096.
When I went to see this, he had 40 cars up here. Guaranteed. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him. This is a house. Jelly. There's no Wall Avenue neighbors, Franklin Square, Seahurst, Inwood, Queens, Lynbrook, New Hyde Park, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Lakewood, Forest Hills. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? No. No, they're not. They're opposed.
Yes. All right. Good afternoon, members of the board. I'm here today with Jose Rodriguez. He's the owner of the house located at 87 Wall Avenue in Inwood. We are seeking a variance to lift the house and also expand the front corner of the house, adding an addition which is going to be 8.4 by 19.6 addition to the front of the house, essentially squaring it off and giving it a nice portico and vestibule area to enter the house. The original house was built in 1918. The foundation currently is in poor condition. Water is getting into the crawl space, and at some point prior to my client purchasing the house, the foundation was repaired, but the repair really wasn't enough to fix the problem. They simply put concrete blocks, concrete block wall on the outside of the foundation, which only really somewhat protects the original foundation. Other than that, they excavated to verify the foundation. The foundation is less than 2 feet below grade, which is not substantial. Is not enough to does not meet today's codes, and will definitely not support a second floor. So, by lifting the house, the foundation will be removed and rebuilt. It will create a first floor of open storage space. The existing house will be lifted, will be on the second floor now, and they are also proposing a new roof framing to be installed. We're also asking for a variance to legalize an addition which is off the back of the garage. The room is 8 by 13. It's attached to the rear of the garage. It's well constructed outer masonry walls, ties into the garage walls. This existed prior to his ownership. The variances we're requesting are as follows. On the dwelling, we're asking for a 5-foot rear yard requirement, where the requirement is 25 feet. I'd like to just point out that we're not creating that setback. That's exactly where the house is situated right now. We're just going straight up, following the same line. And we're also asking for a lot area occupied variance of 27.95, which is a small increase from the allowable of 27.5. The lot coverage includes the house, the addition to the house, the garage, and the addition to the garage, which we're legalizing. If you notice on the plot plans, there are some sheds which were attached to the garage. They're slated to be removed. I looked at them. They're not in the best of conditions, and they're not included in these lot coverage calculations.
What goes on in the property now? I mean, what's it?
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, explain, but it's from the times I went there, it's his house. I understand there may be concerns of, it's definitely a unique property, but,
I mean, Christina, I don't know whether you saw that. There's a workshop on it. It's a residence B zone, correct?
it's a residence B, yes.
And a residence B is for dwelling, single-family dwelling only,
Correct,
with maybe a garage, something to that effect.
yes. I understand, I'm
So tell me-
gathering that you
Tell
may
me
have concerns.
what's there, yeah, I mean, because even your plans say that, one-story concrete block workshop.
So it's essentially, it's a garage, and,
No, this is within the house, not the garage. What, the whole place is a garage?
no, if you look at the plot plan, then we're not looking to do any work to the, it's labeled workshop, but, that's essentially that's the garage. I know it's an oversized it's a garage, and we don't normally see this type of garage in a residential setting, but there is a permit, there is a CO for this garage. I believe there was a prior variance for it in 1980. If you take a look at the search sheet.
Is there a business in that garage?
To my understanding, no.
How many cars are normally parked on the lot? in front of the property, because you have photographs with a few.
So I definitely spoke to my client about the parking. He can speak about it as well, but from what I understand, he allows the employees of the funeral home, which is directly across the street, and other neighboring businesses to use his driveway for parking because there's limited street parking in the area.
Have you been in the premise?
I've been in the house.
Haven't been in the garage.
No.
So you don't know what's in the garage? Apparently it used to be a gas station.
Somewhere.
Is there a lift in the garage? I mean, it just,
You have an application for overnight parking of commercial vehicles. What's that all about? What is that about?
I'm not aware, I didn't file an application for
Well,
overnight.
there is. There's one on the record. 2011-02523.
May I have?
do you have
my
your,
cli- may I
yeah,
have-
before you do that, look at your search sheet if you have a copy of that.
Okay.
It's all on that.
All right. My search sheet only has 2 permits listed, the house and the garage from 1980.
Oh, they're the closed building permits.
Closed permits, yes.
You've got quite a few others. You have 3 others on applications. Overnight parking of commercial vehicles. I can tell you, I was down there, I looked at this piece of property. There had to be 40 cars in the front yard. 40 of them. 40. I didn't go in the building, but you can rest assured that I will, to see what's going on in that building. We have a number of complaints here that it's being used as a repair shop. I don't know if you've seen them, but you could take a look at it. There was a funeral going on across the street. Maybe some of the cars in the front yard were there because of the funeral. But, okay, I'm going to take a peek. Any other questions? Joey? I gotta look at this. You've got,
No, but there's a big thing here. No, but here, that seems to be what's going to go. That's so you can get more cars. Yeah. Do you see the other area? Do you see the other area? No, look here.
Mr. Katsubis, your client doesn't operate a tree service business or an exterminating business, does he?
No,
Okay.
he doesn't. That's what the variance was for.
Right.
Was for a tree service business. So,
There was a
you know,
greenhouse.
I've glanced through these documents here. It seems like there's a tremendous opposition to this, if possible. I mean, I understand the concerns may be more so about the garage than about the residence, but if we can kindly ask for, you know, maybe an adjournment, we could come back better prepared to
That might be advisable.
to make a presentation. I would gladly request an adjournment if possible.
Is this in the FEMA zone?
Okay. I have the,
It's it.
it's
Maybe it is.
officially, it's in an LOMR zone, which is a map revision zone, but it's this construction, the proposed house lifting, even though is not like it's not a FEMA mandate, but the area does flood, is what he told me. The crawl space floods, and that's part of the reason as to why he's looking to raise the house. The FEMA line does go through the property,
How much higher is it going to be raised?
Okay.
What's the lift?
All right, so the overall height, we comply.
How much is it going to be lifted?
Okay, so it's gonna go from,
Sorry, elevate. Take a set of plans with me.
It's going to be lifted 9 feet 11 inches, and the overall height is going to be under the 30 feet, which is allowable in the B zone. So the overall height with the lift and the new roof will be at 28 feet from from the crown of the road.
28 feet, less than 29 feet, less than 30 feet from
Yes,
the
less
ground
than
of the road.
30 feet from the crown of the road. So we're not asking for a height variance.
I see that.
Right.
We're
Did I miss what, if the application was approved, what is your lot coverage going to be?
The lot coverage is going to be 27.95%, but that's assuming removal of the sheds which are attached to the garage.
Well, you said you were going to remove them, so.
Yes, so that's not including that. So
Okay.
Right.
that's-
And the rear yard is going to be what?
the rear yard's going to be 5 feet.
And what is required?
25 feet is required for a rear yard.
What is it currently?
It's currently 5 feet. So we're taking the house, we're going straight up. We're not further encroaching on the rear yard.
And the lot area with the addition to the garage would be how much? Is that included?
That's including the 8 by 13 addition to the garage.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add? Do you want to ask for an adjournment?
I mean, I would like, I would like to review or thoroughly review the neighbor's objections, so.
How long do you think you'll need?
We'll take the next event within.
When is it?
May 1st.
It's got to be in July, right? Can it come in? The next available date, Mr. Katsubas, is July 10th, 2 p.m. Is that okay?
All right, we'll
Okay.
take
All right.
July 10th.
So we'll put the case on for July 10, 2 p.m. And sometimes board members go out and look at the property. Do you have any dogs on the property? Mr. Rodriguez, do you have any dogs on the property that we have to watch out for if somebody wanders onto your property to look at what's going on there? You have a yard dog? No yard dogs? Okay, all right.
Are you folks interested in
Sometimes
the
we'll
case?
bang on your door and sometimes we won't. July 10, 2 p.m.
Okay. May I also request copies of those documents so we can review the neighbor's concerns and.
That's fine. You pick them up in the office.
Mr. Kasubas, it might behoove you to inspect that garage
Okay.
as well, inside
Mhm.
in. And when you come back in July, be ready to report
Right.
what your findings are.
Okay, I understand.
Okay? All right. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Next, we have case 25724, West Hempstead. Terrence Bloom. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on South M Street, side yard, rear yard, construct dwelling with garage and 2 AC units, demolish existing building,
Constructed dwelling.
also known as 486 Woodfield Road. I was wondering from before, just again, your name and address.
Front yard setback.
And for the record, Tom O'Connell, doing business at 1200 Veterans Highway, Hop Hop, New York, architect for the
Oh,
Blooms.
it's West Hempstead.
Thank you again.
Go rolling.
Chairman, members of the board, representing the Blooms in their application to construct a new residence. The Blooms currently, they are living in Vancouver. They're moving to West Hempstead to live near their children and grandchildren, and they're looking to build a new home. And they purchased this property. Currently, the property is developed with a 1.5-story residence located in A-2 district. It is in a non-conforming home that sits on that property now. An A2 requires a 20,000 square foot property, where this property yields 9,770 square feet. We are knocking down the existing residence to build the new residence. And if you haven't seen the survey, we could submit it of the existing home. But much of the requests that we're here before are following the existing footprint of the home that's currently in place. The request on the front yard, where 30 feet is required, currently the existing house sits at 30 feet. We're requesting 26.99 feet, but that is for an open porch at the front entrance. That is not for the enclosed portion of the building. The enclosed portion of the building is maintaining the 30 feet of the, which is what the existing house is as well. That, absolutely. Okay.
This could be the 7th-inning stretch.
All good?
Mr. O'Connell?
Go
All right.
Continue, I'm sorry, Mr.
That- Absolutely okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Just to go over it again, this is an undersized lot. Currently, a 20,000 square foot lot is required, where 9,770 square feet is provided, replacing an existing residence with a new home. Currently, the existing residence that's in place yields a front yard of 30 feet. The new residence that we're building on Woodfield Road also yields a front yard of 30 feet. But the 26.99 feet that we're here before you is strictly for an open porch. The house itself is actually at 30 feet. That holds same for on Elm Street. The existing house is actually the 28 foot that's before you. That is actually what the existing house is as well. The existing house sits at 28 feet. The rear yard, that is the same as well. 32 feet is where the existing house sits. 35 feet is required, but the remaining 4 feet that you see before you with the 28.1 foot is for an open deck or walkway that's above grade. And that's what that extra 4 feet is for. It's not, an enclosed part of the house, just an open raised walkway. The side yard, where a minimum of 15 feet is required, the existing house does yield 12.4 feet. We're asking to have a 10-foot side yard on that side of the residence. This is a corner lot. Obviously, it does yield some, complexities with and being an undersized lot as well. So, a hardship does, exist. We tried to work our design into the footprint of what the existing house was to try to minimize the request before the board itself. If we did have the proper amount of space on this lot, we probably wouldn't be here for a lot coverage variance. We would have been under the 15% that is requested. The house itself is actually at 23.2%. The remaining percentage that's before you, that equals the 26.9%, is for the open, porches and walkways that are counted as part of that square footage. So this is it's a two-story residence. It has an attached two-car garage, and it's for the Blooms that are again relocating here from Vancouver to live close to their children and their grandchildren, and hopefully make it for their forever home. And that's what's before you today, and I'd be very interested to hear what the board would have to say.
The dwelling or proposed?
Well, they're just moving in right now. So right now it's just the Blooms and their extended family. That their grandchildren. They are Orthodox, so they have a lot of people that come to their residence and their family and everything. That come to stay with them.
There's been entrance this time.
Yeah, doesn't have.
Any other questions from the board? If not,
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention.
I got the drill, baby. Oh, nuts, I did that.
Next, we have case 25924, Oceanside, Daniel Eisner. Variance, lot area occupied, constructed addition, deck and roofed over portico, all attached dwelling, also known as 3323 Bayfield Boulevard. Mr. O'Connell, I have you sworn in from earlier, just your name and address for the record.
Thank you again. For the record, Todd O'Connell, doing business at 1200 Veterans Highway, Hauppauge, New York, architect. For the Liebermans, in their request to build their deck and second floor on their residence. The lot area occupied is really specifically for the deck area that.
Hold it a second. Did he say Lieberman?
He did.
Are we not on case 259?
Yeah.
You said Lieberman? Is it not Eisner? Is it A different case?
Oceanside,
Yes, Oceanside.
Yep.
3323
Yep.
Bayfield?
Bayfield, that's correct, yes. I'm sorry, that's that's the correct one.
From New York.
That is correct.
So what's the applicant's name?
But it's,
You're allowed.
I'm sorry. I have it as Lieberman, and mine is just, it's probably just, husband and wife. It's, yep, Daniel Eisner.
Does Lieberman know you're making this application?
Yes.
Lieberman is on 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And you'll ask that that case be brought up to this?
Oh, goodness.
Okay. Now we have that straightened out. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, what we're looking to do here is to build a second floor in the house. The work that we're doing to the house actually complies with the code in terms of the lot coverage, where the house itself occupies 26.8% of the property, where 27.5% is permitted. But the additional area for the deck area that we're building, does occupy a little bit more space. It occupies an additional 4.3% of area, which puts us at 31.8%, where 30% is the max permitted when decks are included. So it requests a 1.8% relief for the open deck area on the property.
And that's your
So
case.
that's it. Yeah, it's a very minimal request, all open structures.
Where's Couture when you need her? She didn't come up with 54 pages.
Oh, well, here's in addition, we have some couple letters from the neighbors saying of no objection.
Always good to have.
We'll accept those in evidence. Any other questions from the board?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified. Thank you.
Very much.
Second.
Good night. Have a
All
great
in
night.
favor?
You too.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case says,
Next we have cases 1378-24 through 1380-24 Point Lookout, Colette and Rod White. Variances, lot area, front width, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, rear yard, side yards aggregate, maintained dwelling on a lesser lot. Variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, rear yard, construct addition over existing foundation and second story additions, all attached to dwelling, demolish existing addition. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, rear yard, maintain awning and outdoor shower, both attached to dwelling, also known as 129 Glenwood Avenue.
Hello, my name is Todd Drucker. I live at 26 West Broadway, apartment 502, Long Beach, New York. And
Colette White, 129 Glenwood Avenue, Point Lookout, New York, 11569.
hello, board. Thank you for your time. We are here for 129 Glenwood Avenue in Point Lookout, New York. We have 3 applications. 2 of them are maintains. One is for a maintained dwelling on a lesser lot. We have a second application of maintained for an outdoor shower and an awning over the 1-story structure. And then we have a new construction. Our new construction keeps the footprint of the building the same, in which we're adding a story over the rear yard, 1-story addition in the back of the house, and a 1-story storage room. The existing house has variances that we're seeking for lot area, front width, lot area occupied, front average setback, rear yard, side yard aggregate, and all of those are due to the property being built on. Yes, board?
could you hold on a second? Where does the maintained dwelling on a lesser lot come in on this, in connection with this application?
So we have 3 applications open with the board. These are building permits number The main one that we're here for today for the new edition is 23-9179. The maintain on existing lot is 23-10217.
And what is the size? Maintaining on a lesser lot means that, in my opinion, it was once built on a 60 by 100, now it's being built on, and a CO was issued. Now, I'm just using numbers. Now it's being built on a 45 by 100. That's maintaining this dwelling on a lesser lot. Is that your understanding as well? And if it is, then you have to give me the history of that.
The history of it in our chain of title is that this was always one lot, lot number 36. In the town, there are a lot of buildings.
Okay, what was the size or is the size of that lot?
The current lot,
No, on the chain of title. Go.
the chain of title always had the lot at 2,100 square feet, 35 by 60 feet.
Which is exactly what it is now.
Yes.
So I'm still not getting the maintain on a lesser lot.
We had an open and
What is the
maintain
lesser
application
lot?
to close the open permits from the 60s where they added, the footprint that the clients have in today, which was initially a second-story addition on top of the house.
The lesser lot refers to the lot size.
Yep.
Am I correct? Counsel,
I see you have an application pending to maintain a dwelling on a substandard lot, but not on a lesser lot.
Thank you, board, for clarifying. I believe substandard lot is the correct terminology versus lesser lot. There is a maintain application for the existing footprint of the house that has been open for 80 years. And then there also is an application for a second-story addition.
I'm going to make an amendment. There's nobody here in opposition. Should be substandard. Administratively, the way we're going to handle this is we're going to amend your caption from a lesser lot to a substandard lot.
And that is correct. I actually see on my application, I was misspoken before. It is a maintained dwelling on the substandard lot for application 23-10217.
It wasn't advertised that way, but we're going to amend it, so.
Thank you, counsel. Sorry for that. If I may continue.
Go right ahead.
So the new building permit is to extend a second story over an existing one-story structure in the back. We are going to demolish the storage to the foundation to rebuild it so that we could have the sills at the same height and provide the fire hour rating requested by the building department based off where those walls are, which are identified as walls A and walls B on the site plan. We are raising the house because our client, Roderick White, has multiple sclerosis. In addition, we're putting an elevator and an accessible restroom on the second floor so that him and Colette can age in place. I'm going to read one paragraph from Rod's doctor just to explain what multiple sclerosis is. It's a chronic progressive immune-mediated neurological disease which causes Mr. White to suffer from the symptoms of progressive motor weakness, unsteady gait, and recurrent falls from trauma. As with such, due to mobility, he requires a wheelchair. His current home has narrow stairs, which will not provide maneuverability. His current home is renovated for aging in place to be adapted as Rod's condition progresses. This letter has been submitted as part of our application. And in addition, we have 15 signatures from people within the 200-foot radius.
We'll take it all in evidence.
And then lastly, for your record, I did provide a nice board to kind of demonstrate that the addition does not really change the front of the character nor the footprint of the building, mainly to just give them a place that they can age in place.
That it? Do we want to go through the numbers? Joe, want him to go through the numbers? Lot area he went through, front width. So he's going up, right? He's not going out, he's going up. Okay. So your proposed second-story addition, I mean, both of those additions are over existing structures and an existing foundation. You're just going up, you're not going out? Okay.
Thank you, Colette. Yes, that is correct.
So do you want to tell us, what, did you go, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but your lot area occupied is what?
As said before, the current lot size is 2,100 square feet. The building area is 1,056 feet. That remains. That is a percentage of 50.3% with 27.5 allowed. Height remains the same at 28. We're matching the ridge.
Your front width, exactly the same?
Front yard, side yard, rear yard, all remain the same and all are non-compliant due to the nature of many houses in Point Lookout being built before 1938.
As well as your side yard aggregate, correct? And the only, you're not, the awning and the outdoor shower, how long have they been there?
The outdoor shower, to my knowledge, has been there the entire length of the white. Colette's mom, or grandma?
So my mother had lived in that house, in that house for over 80 years. And I'm 60-something, and that outdoor shower has always been there my whole life.
And the awnings have been put up relatively recently. There is an awning, if you look at the photos in the rear, that will be removed for the new addition. And the awning in the front goes up seasonally, down in the winter, up in the summer.
Okay. You have any issues? Have any, Joseph?
No.
No questions? All right. No questions from the board. I'd like a motion.
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll get notified.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Have a nice afternoon, folks.
For your information, it's going to be re-reviewed about the amendment of the caption. It's just a little, we want to make sure that it's clear. Whatever it is, the case is closed, you did a fine job.
Yep.
And it's not going to affect the board's decision. It's just our internal clarification.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
You need 5? Okay, all right. We're going to take a 5-minute break so that the court reporter can flex her fingers a little bit. All right, we'll be back in 5. Notwithstanding Mr. Mulryan's concern about a 5-minute break. Did we qualify him lately?
No, I don't know. Who is that?
day you get your Clear Choice dental implants makes every day.
The town board meeting. For
The parking of commercial vehicles.
that realty. West side, okay. Now, respond to the questions. Oh, Councilwoman? On these opportunities to team up with residents who want to preserve it, we embrace that. So thank you very much. And thank you for being on the board.
It is pristinely maintained.
We have an application of Bayview Inwood LLC for an amendment and change of the building zone ordinance of the town of Hempstead, including the building zone map thereof, so that it's located at no number, doesn't say, Bayview Avenue, and shall be reclassified from Residence B District to Light Manufacturing LM District pursuant to Section 273 of Article 28 of the Building Zone Ordinance of the Town of Hempstead to permit a vehicle storage lot for the storage of dump trucks and associated site work at the premises in Inwood.
Okay. And I know that Mr. Schlesinger is here to start the presentations. Good evening, Councilor. If you just give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Supervisor Clavin, members of the board. This is a piece of land that sits across from a big trucking thing, backs up on the Salt Dome, and it's intended for parking of dump trucks. There is no residents within 50 or 60 feet.
But people have the opportunity to speak when we sign you in, so go on.
Anyway, we have us. Danielle's here with the site plan if the board wants to see it.
Okay.
You want to?
Absolutely, Danielle. If you identify yourself and we have the site map. She wants to talk about it briefly on the sizes. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And we can answer any questions the board has.
Okay. All right. With that, does any member of the board have a question right now? Okay. We have a number of residents who are signed in. We'll hear from them, and I'll let you respond to the questions. Oh, Councilwoman. We'll hear what they have to say. Assistant have a site.
And so right now the property.
There's a business there before the corner of Craft. You have the town of Hempstead community. Okay. Are there any other questions of the board right now? Hi, Miss. Are you Miss Hyken?
Whether the issues.
You get one shot, Barry. I can't come back to you after. You get to go now or never. What do you want to do? Okay. That's all right. Amira Gomez? Okay.
No, only my sister. Sometimes my mother stays there, sometimes she stays here. I go like to the main temple that here. But I do go to Europe a lot. For vacation or? I love going to Switzerland.
Yeah.
They do. You
You're
lie.
only wearing 6 shirts,
They
4
probably,
washes.
they probably know that you lie.
They know too.
They
They know. They know. They know.
There's some countries, like, they know why somebody traveled there. Especially Paris, Milan. They know if something is wrong.
And you're allowed to buy a certain amount of stuff.
It's only $800.
It was like 10 grand.
No,
No?
800.
Really? Yeah.
You know, when I drive certain areas in Europe, like if you buy stuff from one country, you have to get it scanned in order to get your duty free. But problem is, sometimes you drive, there's nobody at the border. I'm stopped and looking around, looking for somebody, nobody's leaving.
I thought the whole thing was the EU. Yeah, I thought the whole thing was the EU. You don't need to do that.
No, there's certain.
Still?
Yeah. Like, Switzerland is not part of EU.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. That's why they have their own currency.
Currency, the neutral.
You go to Milan or you go to Paris, it's just like going to Brooklyn.
I bet they
Just
find
takes
that
long to get
something.
there.
Yeah.
You're gonna be surprised. One time I went to Paris and their main shopping center. So I guess size of a JC Penney or something. And they didn't put the stuff in the bag. They're like, are you gonna take a taxi? I said, no, my hotel is over here. And I'm gonna walk. No, you can't walk without a bag. I said, yeah, you have to get a different bag.
I'm going to Sicily at the beginning of May.
It's not.
Yeah, you been to Sicily?
No, I've been to Capri.
Huh?
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
I've been to Capri.
Well, it's been on my plane already, but it's
When was
crazy.
it?
The 27th.
It's not wrong. Next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Saturday. I've been to Capri, I've been to Naples, I've been to Venice.
Oh, it's nice to travel. When Sean travels, he goes, checks out the parking lots, the travel flow.
I travel from almost back and forth.
So just like you, I drove once from France to Italy. And it's a nice highway, and they have tolls. And I get to the toll, and I don't know what to do. And everyone's honking at me, and there's like an arm down. And finally I see, like, on the French toll, there's a button to press to speak English.
It happened to me also.
Yeah.
The honking, I'm like,
What are you gonna do?
at that point, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
And sometimes your credit card doesn't work because it's out of country, and some of the cards doesn't go through. Yeah, cousins here in Toronto. So they go to a gas station. He goes to his credit card. It's asking for a zip code. I don't think he goes, what are they talking about?
Ah,
I said,
that's interesting. So what did he do?
I found paid cash or
Yeah,
whatever.
you wanna take it?
But you think in today's day and age, right, that would be an issue.
Right. Right.
No, no. Thank you.
Patrick?
Finally, we have case 9324, Levittown, Satish Kumar. Special exception for proposed religious use in existing building, waive off-street parking, also known as 5 North Village Green.
St. Thomas Road, everything's in Washington.
Michael Zapson, Sir Tillman Ballon, Adler and Hyman, 90 Merrick Avenue, East Meadow, New York, 11554, for the applicant Satish Kumar.
Satish Kumar, 190 McKee Street, Floral Park, New York, 11001.
Sean Mulryan Engineering, 1225 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Go ahead, Mr. Zapson.
Thank you. This is the application of Satish Kumar for a variance and a special exception to convert what was previously a small private school in Levittown into a religious use as a Hindu Sikh meditation center. I have with me Sean Mulryan of Mulryan Engineering, who conducted a parking study, and the applicant, Mr. Satish Kumar, from the meditation center. The existing building is between the St. Thomas Malankara Orthodox Church and the preschool, all of which are surrounded by vast public parking. The subject parcel has previously been used as a preschool, and before that it was a uniform store. The applicant's plan for the building does not include any expansion of the building. There will be no change to the exterior of the building. Rather, the interior will be reconfigured a little to have a meditation area on the ground floor and to construct a dining room below for after services dining. A zoning variance is necessary to waive off-street parking requirements and a special exception for the religious use in an existing building. The building area, front, side, and rear yard setbacks are all compliant as they exist now, and they're well within what is allowed. There will be no change. The requested parking variance may appear large on paper, but really it's not. As computed by the town code, 173 spaces are required. However, the town computation does not take into consideration how the applicant will actually use the premises as a meditation center. The premises used as contemplated will not fit as many people as the parking code provides for, nor do we want that many people. The building has 2 floors, each of which is approximately 5,800 square feet. People will basically be meditating, sitting on the floor. There will be few seats on the ground level, and it'll be very quiet. On the lower level will be a small kitchen, additional bathrooms, and a dining area to eat after meditating. Meditation services will be scheduled for Thursday evenings from 6 to 9.
Mr. Zapson?
Yes.
Did you say that it has 2 stories, 2 floors?
Well, there's a ground floor and there's a lower level.
Basement?
Right, right. So it's a lower level.
Okay.
Right, nothing going up. I'm sorry if I
That's
wasn't
okay.
clear.
We're all good now.
Okay. Services will be scheduled for Thursday evenings from 6 to 9 and Sunday afternoons from 2 to 5. While the site will be open for individual prayer at other times, there will be no formal services. Mr. Kumar can tell you more about the use if you have questions on that. Mr. Kumar also has introduced himself to the neighboring church and the preschool and answered questions they may have, and they did not voice any objections to the application. We believe this is an ideal location for the meditation center, as the times when it will be used do not conflict with the times the neighboring properties are used, and there's an abundance of municipal parking, which Mr. Mulryan will provide additional information on as part of his report. Currently, the Meditation Center rents out the Elks Lodge in New Hyde Park for its services. As this is a religious use, greater flexibility should be given to the applicant to accommodate the religious use sought. The granting of the variance will not undesirably change the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby property. All previous users of this building had parking variances as well. Immediately adjacent to the applicant's building is a church, and on the other side, a preschool. The applicant will primarily use the building Thursday evenings and Sunday afternoons, which do not conflict with either the church or school. The school is used Monday through Friday for school purposes, and the church has services earlier in the day on Sunday. The property itself is surrounded by municipal parking, so there is no way for the applicant to acquire more land for parking. Therefore, the benefit sought cannot be achieved by a method other than a variance. However, the abundance of municipal parking results in there always being more parking than needed. The parking variance is insubstantial based upon the actual need for parking during the limited time. No more than twice per week will it be needed. The available parking in the area and that parking will be used when the surrounding entities are not sharing the lot. The proposed improvements and use are perfectly consistent with the other buildings in the neighborhood. There will be no change in the appearance of the building. No adverse effect will be had on the neighbors, and there will be no negative impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood. The meditation center use is such that it will have sufficient parking at all times with the municipal parking. Few members come down during the week, and there are no organized events other than Thursday evenings and Sunday afternoon meditation with a meal afterwards. It's the same members who meditate and then take part in the meal. Currently, there are approximately 100 members, and as I said, they're renting out the Elks Lodge in New Hyde Park for their services. I have with me Sean Mulrine of Mulrine Engineering to provide a parking evaluation and study.
Good evening, Sean Moran, again of Moran Engineering. I handed a copy of my report up. It's on the desk to my right. We took a look at this subject site and also the surrounding area. This is a pocket park within Levittown. We also looked at this immediate area in 20...
It's more than a pocket park, isn't it? I mean, it was... do you know the history on how these little green strips, if you, whatever, came before these? Levitt built this.
Correct, as part of the Levitt, and there is...
The greens, go ahead. I want you to put that on the record and explain, because that goes into this case and how there is no parking provided, or, you know, other than the municipal lots, and how the greens came about. I think that's important.
Well, these buildings,
You know.
and I will give my knowledge of it, and hopefully that will satisfy the question that's being asked. These buildings sit within a municipal field. They do not have any parking of their own. And then when I say these buildings, I mean the four that are one building to our east, two buildings to our west. There is an additional building to the south, which is on the other side of a row of parking. And in 2013, as I was saying, we did another parking study in this area for 100 Schoolhouse Road, which was a former bowling alley. That sits next to a town pool. That building is also separated from this site from rows of parking. And the aerial photograph to my left and the right shows that there is 1, 2, 3 rows, 3 double rows of municipal parking surrounding each of these buildings, or each of those buildings as I described. Again, there is also a town pool, which is located to the south of the subject site, but none of these buildings, other than the assisted living that was built in 2013, have their own parking. That parking was built as part of that application again in 2013. But these buildings sit within a parking field that surrounds the building, and the exterior of those areas is residential surrounding this area, which I refer to as Park Park, but essentially this entire square of properties which sit within residential single-family homes. So again, we've taken a look at this parking surrounding the subject site. There are over 400 parking spaces within this area. We looked at it in 2013. We looked at it again recently as part of this application. The subject application is going to be limited in terms of usage to Thursday evening and Sunday. We looked specifically at Sunday. The Sunday hours for the proposed use are 2 to 5, whereas the church next door is in the morning. So there's no overlap between the two religious uses, which sit on the north end of the area of parking. There's no overlap, however, we did look at the parking during those times. And throughout the various times that we've looked at this property, again in 2024 and also in 2013, we've never seen any issues with the parking that would be related to the subject site. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Mr. Zaxton, you heard Mr. Mulryan tell the board that there would be limited hours and days of usage of the property. Does your client agree limiting the times and days?
Well, that's when we're gonna have services.
Yes.
You know, the building will be open at other times, individuals may come in to meditate, but the organized services will be at those times. Yes, we're okay with limiting it to Thursday.
The service.
The services.
Services only.
Christina, were you able to note that?
Mhm.
And are there any other activities that will take place other than the meditation? Is school, after-school activities, things like that? No.
Do you have any cooking facilities in the building?
Yes, there's a small kitchen downstairs for their after meditation meal.
It's simply a meal, in other words, no catering.
No catering.
Large gatherings, you'll have food in brought from outside, if there are any large gatherings.
It's to be self-sufficient, and they're not going to be doing catering there. It's really just to eat after their service.
How does that qualify as, I don't want to offend anybody, but, you know, it's for two different religions. How does it, forgive my ignorance. You said it was going to be used as a Hindu and Sikh meditation center. Is that correct? How does a meditation center qualify as a religious use? I'd like you to enlighten me.
Well, this has to do with both Hinduism and Sikh religions. Part of what they do is meditation.
Right.
The question we've been asked all along is what particular sect would be using it for meditation? And these are questions that we fielded, and the facility is open to both Hindus and Sikhs. So that's
Are there in the facility itself, because the Hindus and the Sikhs worship different deities, do they not? They worship the same deities.
Most of it.
Pardon?
Most of the time, same days.
Are there any religious figurines that you have in the building? Because I know Hindus go to a temple traditionally, Sikhs go to a temple. They have religious figurines throughout the temple, right?
This is not specifically a temple. This is just for meditation center. It's no like statues or other stuff involved like you see in Hindu temple.
Right.
This is just the guru that we follow that allows us to meditate together.
Okay.
This is not typically Hindu or Sikh temple itself, like you will typically see. This is just worshipping and meditation center.
Is there and I'm a lot more ignorant than he is. Is there any type of an official that, or officiates that help to conduct the meditation?
No.
It's just,
It's just like, let's say the time starts at 6 p.m. So we will put out a Sikh culture music, which is help to meditate. And for an hour and a half, people listen to that. And after that, the final prayer is the Hindu religion.
and is that prayer, just as a group, there's nobody leader, there's no leadership for them?
No.
No,
Just
no
all-
pandits? There are no pandits?
No.
Okay.
No pandits. It all happens on the speaker system. There's no live music, no live band, anything whatsoever like that.
And the meditation is religious-based, so to speak?
Yes.
I just want to make, I'm trying to
Kind of different.
help you out to make sure that it's a religious.
Yeah.
No, it's, yes, it's a religious application. And like I said, currently at the Elks Lodge that they rent out, you can come to a service if you like.
Thank you for the offer.
Excuse me, do you still go to temple then?
Meaning normal temple?
Yes.
I'll go.
Yes, on certain days we do go.
Joe.
Like if it's
Oh.
like any special,
I've been
like
to
today is a special occasion, we do go
Yeah.
to regular temple as well.
I was counsel to them.
So you can't meditate at the temple then?
No.
The
I've never seen it.
amplified speaker system, is that only within the building? There's
Only with
No outdoor.
no outdoor?
No outdoor at all.
and it's soft, meditative temple.
I could get that. It helps me go to sleep at night. I put on a.
The news does that. The news does that,
The news makes me
meditation.
sick. I'd rather-
That's why we say it's together Hindu and Sikh, because the music and the playing is picked from Gurbani, which is from Sikh religion. And the final prayer, which is for Lord Shiva, is for Hindu religion. But there's no pandits, there's no special person. It all happens on the speakers.
And did they meet at
Is
the
there
same
is
time?
there a screen anywhere to visualize things? I don't know.
No, there's a picture of our Guru.
Okay.
Yes. Picture of our Guru and maybe a picture of Lord Shiva and picture of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and which is for Sikh people.
Mhm.
But there's no like statues or anything like
Right.
that. Yes.
Right. It's new. No, they don't. Joanne is asking if the people of those religions meditate in a temple. I'm counsel to a Hindu temple. I've never seen anyone meditate in it. I don't know. The temple that I'm familiar with, they don't meditate.
No, here
They pray.
we meditate.
They have pujas.
Everybody sit in the
all sorts of good
silence for the
stuff.
time it starts. Is usually lasts an hour and a half, following by the prayer and the food.
Mhm.
And for an hour and a half is quiet, is no talking, everybody meditating. This is not like you come to a temple, you pray, you leave in 5 minutes. No. On the days besides Thursday and Friday, there is no meditation, so you could come and pray and leave.
Mhm.
But in these days, you have to be there for an hour and a half, minimum.
I only wish that the temple that I'm counsel to would, the pujas would last 5 minutes. They last 3 hours,
Yes.
3.5 hours.
Yes. Like today we have a special day when puja will last hours and hours. We don't do puja. There is no what they call it, incense,
Right.
lightning,
Mhm.
anything like that.
Mhm.
There is no fire, nothing like that.
It's interesting. I've never heard of it, but what do I know? I've got to ask
That's
my
why
friends.
we name it meditation center. There is no specifically a temple itself.
How did they?
Non-denominational.
Not, right. Yeah. Okay. And any other questions from the board? Motion? Can I have a motion?
I move that the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Have a nice evening.
Next, we have second call, cases 251 and 252 of 2024, Garden City South, Sari Evangelou, variance rear yard maintain wood deck attached to dwelling and detached garage, special exception to maintain accessory structure, shed, not permitted in side yard, and with less than required side yard setback, maintain 4-foot-high fence forward of the dwelling, also known as 523 Terrace Avenue. There is nobody here?
Since no one appeared, we're going to put this case over, and we're going to ask that you notify the applicant or the applicant's counsel that if they fail to attend next time, we're going to dismiss the case. And what's a date when we can put this on?
July 24th at 2 p.m.
July 24th, 2 p.m. That concludes the afternoon calendar. We'll take a 2.5-minute break and then come back and finish decisions. And I'd still like to know how that qualifies as a, is there a definition for religious? Case 3 of 2024. Inwood, Knockham and Sarah Greenberg. Do I have any comments or questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 243 to 24 Inwood, Knockham and Sarah Greenberg at 5 Fairway Drive be approved as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? These are Schmool's cases.
Mhm.
244 through 247 inclusive of 2024. Inwood, David and Hannah Linzelberg. Do I have any comments? If not, do I have a motion? Oh, the only comments I have is, if I may, they have to cut back those fences that are adjacent to both driveways on,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, we've got to cut them
We
back,
marked the
catty
site
corner
plan.
them.
I think Christina knows.
We marked the site plan, yeah.
This is the house that has no driveway?
Yeah. Mhm.
In addition to that, the fencing should be temporary.
All right? Want to make
And,
that motion?
and it's a new house, so therefore, new technically because it's 50%. We're
Yep.
gonna do the new,
New house conditions.
okay. So therefore, I
No
move that
basement
case
entrance. Go ahead.
244 to 247, Winselberg at, where it is here?
68
Dixon Street in Woodmere,
Inwood,
in Wood.
close.
Can't help it. I'm a left-handed guy.
I get
I'm
it.
a middle child.
Okay.
What else? I
Okay.
am who I am.
To construct a second-story addition, variances front yard, maintain enclosed porch, special exception, maintain a shed exceeding horizontal maximum, et cetera. That would be case number 244, no, all cases are, I would move that all cases are approved with the condition that it's a new dwelling because it's over 50%, so the new dwelling conditions, as well as a temporary for the fences, as well as the clear site triangle as indicated on the plot plan and discussed at the hearing be approved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case. 248 of 2024, Neil Lawrence. Moshe Kaufman and Rebecca Sarah Wasner. That's also new construction.
Yes.
Usual new construction conditions,
With,
which
right, with
means no
respect,
basement entrance. Good.
with respect to case 248 of 2024, location of property 256 Pacific Avenue near Lawrence. This is new construction, and it's necessary to have all new home conditions. Other than that, it should be granted.
But except, what about the cellar entrance?
No, that's part of it.
That's included in
That was
It's in the new dwelling.
Okay,
Good.
Second,
second.
all right.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed, any abstentions, all right? Case 249 of 2024, Woodmere, Leon and Gila Maya. That's at 28 Neptune Avenue in Woodmere. Any comments? If not, do I have a motion?
Okay, I make a motion to approve case 249 of 24 Woodmere, Leon and Hilla Meyer at 28 Neptune Avenue with new home conditions.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 250 of 2024, Levittown, Daniel Hasselbauer. Okay, that's at 42 Oak Tree Lane in Levittown. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 250-2024, David Hasselbauer at 42 Oak Tree Lane in Levittown be granted as requested.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Cases 251 and 252 of 2024, Garden City South, since no one appeared, that is marked final on July 24th at 2 p.m. One of the board members who lives in that vicinity should go and look at it. I, of course, would be precluded from doing so because I'm not a mayonnaise face. Case 253 of 2024 in Inwood, Jamila Al-Kaifa. That's one where we need state approval.
Yes.
So you're going to make, Mr. Pellegrini, a motion, unless there is some discussion.
I would move that case. Should we hold it?
This is the one you said.
Yes, should we hold it in abeyance until they get New York State approval?
Or you said you wanted to
Should
make
we-
it condition upon
Should we grant it as a condition that they get,
state approvals.
do not issue a permit until they get state approval?
Didn't they say though,
They were waiting for us.
they were waiting,
Yeah.
New York State was waiting for us?
So
So we're going to grant
we
it.
could,
It would be on condition?
we could approve it subject to no
Their
issuance of a building permit until they get state approval.
Okay, yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, with respect to case 253 of 2024, location of property, 284 Bayview Avenue in Woodmere. I mean, excuse me, in Inwood.
I have an influence on you.
Oh,
Those five
goodness,
towns will
Inwood.
screw you up all the time.
This should be granted, and the building permit shall be held until the New York State approvals come in. So it's subject to New York State approvals.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Case 254 of 2024, we're going to hold that case. Cases 255 and 256 of 2024. This is like the whole southern tier, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Inwood, it's Inwood, I mean, the northern tier is now Garden City South. Jose Rodriguez, we're going to hold that bet. That's been adjourned to July 19th at 2 p.m. July 10th, I'm sorry. And I would recommend that some of the board members go down there and look at it. I know I will revisit it and hope that there is not a funeral going on across the street. We're going to hold it.
Would we want to send a building department to inspect those garages?
I want to catch him. He'll hate my guts, that's okay. And this is the guy who intimidates me. '57 of 2024, West Hempstead, Terrence Bloom. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 257 of 24 West Hempstead, Terrence Bloom at 486 Woodfield Road. He approved as requested.
New house.
Second.
It's a new house.
New house?
You said that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
new house. Okay,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this is notwithstanding the fact that Mr. Bloom was not accompanied by Mr. Bialystock. For those of you who've seen the movie, Bialystock and Bloom.
No.
You never saw that movie, Joanne?
No.
The producers, Bialystock and Bloom. Yeah.
That I know.
It's hysterically funny. Case 258 of 2024, Belmore, Richard Zopke. That case has been adjourned to July 10 at 2 p.m. That's going to be a good day. Next case, 259 of 2024, Oceanside, Daniel Eisner, even though his applicant didn't know who the hell his client was. But any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move that case 259 of 2024, Daniel Eisner at 3323 Bayfield Boulevard, Oceanside, be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next cases, 1378 through 1380 inclusive of 2024, Point Lookout, Colette and Roddy White. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
We want to hold that.
Oh, that's a point look at case.
And I
Okay.
think that we should make a notation that we should consider amending the caption for 1378.
To substandard.
Just that it means, that it reads maintained dwelling.
There,
Okay.
right, that's what it should be.
These folks
Okay.
have gone about it, and that's.
Okay. Case 93
She
of
agreed with me.
2024, Satish Kumar in Levittown. What do we want to do with that one? Any discussion?
What the hell?
I don't have any problems with it.
I move that case 93 of 2024.
Just one, I know that the attorney is going to be sending some conditions, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that he agreed.
Okay,
I thought-
let's
I
put
have
it,
them written down, but I don't know.
let's hold it until he submits his
Sure.
conditions.
See if they're different than what he testified to.
Yeah. I have to call my candidate to say, hey, I don't have anybody in the seats. I can't call upon my Sikh brothers, but I can call upon my Hindu brothers, that's for sure. And closed, and he,
The Sikhs really endorsed Tom when he was running.
The Sikhs?
They were good friends, right? And so they gave Tom this whole little
$22 every month. Are you in New York Water? Every month they send a bill. Why? It's like Keyspan, National Grid, every month, $22. So we have. Why, I hate and oil. Liberty Utilities, New York Water, they want an extension of time, it expired, they're timely. Inwood, 175 LLC, they need an extension of time, it's still within the time limit. Chick-fil-A, they want to construct, secure permits, still within the time limit. And Christopher Pesce, that's fish, to construct, and they need an extension of time. I move that we grant them a 9-month extension of time.
You need a second?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?